Here are 5 curses that narcissists will experience if you succeed in leaving them. This movie is for you if you can't accept the truth about your narcissistic partner and have tried to move on but haven't been able to. Here is a list of the 5 biggest problems you will face as you try to get back on track after a breakup with a narcissist. If you want to find out more, please join this show and click the bell icon. What parts of life do you find the hardest to accept? That's all I have for you before we start. Which of these facts is the hardest for you to believe? Please write about your experiences in the comments so that other people don't feel so alone. The whole relationship was made up. Yes, everything was a lie. You put your whole self into the connection, not just your feelings. Even though you put in a lot of work and sacrifices, you were able to make peace with the ego. You put your faith in this flawed person because you thought they were the one you had been waiting for. You saw them as your saviors. And yet, what exactly happened? Because of how you were treated, you were hurt morally and mentally. You were lied to, hurt, left alone, given up on, and made to feel useless and silly. People have taken advantage of your kindness, sensitivity, and understanding. Now that you know it was all a lie, you have to believe that everything you did for them or went through with them, even the good times, was real. You have to accept that the person you saw at the start of the relationship doesn't exist anymore and never did. For those who think it was all a lie, it means they agree that the person who turned into a monster during the relationship is really who they are. This sudden realization can cause a freeze response that stops you from thinking clearly. It can be like not being able to understand why someone is being stabbed in the face. It's possible to wonder if your mind is playing tricks on you or if someone is joking. It's hard to believe that someone could be so violent and dishonest. This is also true if you have been gaslighted by a narcissist, abused, traumatized, or been through any other kind of unbearable treatment. You couldn't say anything when you suddenly realized the truth. I find it hard to imagine how someone could be this bad. 2. All the good things that have happened to you were made up to control your feelings. Your cognitive dissonance makes it hard for you to accept that the narcissist lied about the good times you had together. How is this possible? There is a clash of emotions. When the narcissist was nice to you, they made you feel bad about yourself and left you with doubts. This makes a split in your consciousness, which makes it hard to tell the difference between real and fake events. Recognizing that the good memories you have are also false and were used to keep you in the relationship is a big step forward. Allowing it to happen means giving up a big part of your life. Having the hope of happy memories is better than having none at all, but if you accept that they were lies, you will never be able to look back on your life with satisfaction and love. It's the same as saying that everything has always been dark and empty. If you say that the good times were just a dream in the middle, it means that someone you trusted lied to, used, and controlled you. This is why it can be so hard to accept that the good times were just that, a dream. The narcissist made you look forward to a dream, but gave you a disaster instead. Like all narcissists, they give you false hope by making promises at the start of the relationship that you can't count on them to keep. The appealing future they paint for you becomes so enticing that it gets harder for you to tell the difference between reality and fantasy. The narcissist puts you in a trance-like state by pretending to be the wanted future. This makes you believe their lies. When you finally understand that the future they offered you was just a bunch of lies and tricks, it can be very upsetting. The claims of love, safety, and closeness turned out to be lies, leaving you with a world full of pain and trouble. Narcissists do things like tricking and baiting you with false expectations and empty promises so they can get what they want, which is to satisfy their own needs at your cost. The fourth thing is called the narcissist denies privacy. Narcissists are known for not letting people they've hurt have peace or closure. They didn't help their victims find answers. Instead, they left them with a lot of questions. This keeps victims stuck in a cycle of doubt and confusion that keeps them from moving on with their lives. When a narcissist can't give closure, it means they didn't care about the relationship or the other person enough to make the ending good. It is important to understand that healing must come from within and through personal experiences, not from the narcissist. People can get the peace of mind and closure they need to move on by looking at their feelings and trying to make sense of what happened. It is important to understand that narcissistic behavior does occur and to learn more about narcissistic personality disorder. Understanding how things really are is the key to freedom and healing. Narcissists used you to get resources, which is the fifth thing. Sometimes it's very hard to accept that a narcissist has abused and used you. It can make you feel like you don't have any worth, security, or sense of self-worth. It is important to remember, though, that it is not your duty. You were taken advantage of not because you were flawed, but because the narcissist lied, twisted, and gaslighted you to get what they wanted. At the time, you were either in a fight, flight, or paralysis state, which helped you stay in the relationship. The narcissist kept taking advantage of you by paralyzing your nerve system and making it hard for you to use the thinking part of your brain. You may feel terrible about letting this happen and wonder why you let it happen, but you need to remember that you had no control over it. You might feel uncomfortable and ask yourself, how could I have let that happen? Or why did I let that happen? Now that you have access to your agency, it's important to remember, though, that it wasn't your fault and that you aren't to blame for the abuse. Being able to admit that someone treated you like an object takes a lot of time and thought, but it is an important step toward healing and moving on. Narcissists used people like you to keep a stock of resources. Some things that make it hard to accept are that your sense of self-worth, self-respect, and confidence have been hurt. When you were no longer needed, you were thrown away like a piece of junk. This can be upsetting because it makes you feel like you were used and controlled, but it's important to remember that the regret and shame are not yours. The narcissist controlled and exploited you by gaslighting and abusing you. They did this by locking you out of your thinking brain and putting you in a state of fight, flight, or freeze. If you're no longer in the bad relationship, you might be able to look back and ask yourself, how could I have let that happen? It could also be, why couldn't I stop it? But it's important to be kind to yourself and realize that things were a lot more difficult than they look now. You need to be kind to yourself, accept who you really are, and work on healing. Take a moment to remember that you were not in charge of the situation and were only doing what you thought was right at the time. To get away from a narcissist's control, you need to understand and accept these facts. In this movie, I think that's all I have to say. We'll see each other again at the next event. So until then, let's keep healing ourselves. Greetings, wonderful viewers, and welcome back to our channel. We're truly grateful for your presence here today. We've curated an invigorating discussion focused on the intriguing topic of what prompts narcissists to experience regret and yearn for your return. This video is designed to offer enlightenment and empowerment, so don't hesitate to dive right in. Narcissists often underestimate the value of others until it's too late. They may have previously belittled and dismissed you, yet their subsequent revaluation and desire for reconciliation can be quite puzzling. Empaths, in particular, tend to trigger this reassessment. Their innate empathy stands out to narcissists, who often fail to appreciate the depth of such connections. Narcissism often breeds a sense of superiority, leading individuals to believe they are above reproach. Conversely, we are driven by love and kindness, striving to do our utmost to avoid causing harm to others. Unfortunately, we frequently find ourselves entangled with toxic individuals who sow seeds of hurt and destruction. In contrast, empaths shine brightly for their compassion and empathy. Focusing on empathy following a significant rejection may naturally prompt a reawakening within us. Empathy and discernment are indeed our strengths, setting us apart from others. As you embark on the journey of healing and acceptance following a breakup, the narcissist observes from afar. As your significance begins to resonate with them once more, they reassess your worth and find themselves captivated by your unique qualities. They may find themselves comparing you to their current partner and reminiscing about the depth of your connection. Narcissists may acknowledge their shortcomings in relationships, yet their introspection tends to be superficial. To them, it's all merely a game. Recognizing their errors, they may attempt to reach out to you, though not without challenges, especially if you've already begun the process of healing and closed the door on them. Their fixation on your life extends to monitoring your social media, even after you've blocked them. Employing various accounts, including fake ones, they persist in tracking your activities. It evolves into a routine akin to that of friends checking in, fueling fantasies of an unattainable reunion. It's crucial to recognize that closing the door signifies a painful awakening for the narcissist. Should you allow them back into your life, they'll reassess your value but continue along their path, knowing they can always return. Maintaining a strict no-contact policy and firmly shutting all avenues of communication are paramount. Refrain from engaging in pleasant interactions with them. Instead, transmit only negativity. While closure may occasionally seem necessary, refrain from providing positive reinforcement. A few words uttered in the final stages of a relationship may suffice for closure, as I've personally experienced. Finding closure by expressing oneself during the concluding days of the relationship can be immensely liberating. Narcissists reevaluate your worth, envisioning you as an unattainable dream they long to reclaim. To shield yourself from the toxicity of such individuals, it's imperative to remain spiritually and psychologically resilient. Sealing the door firmly shut prevents their re-entry and expedites their process of reevaluation. You become their idol, the one they fear losing, yet ultimately do. In the comments section, you'll find anecdotes from individuals who attempted to reconnect after a decade or more. I've heard stories of brief encounters leading to contact years later. As empaths and chosen ones, our energy is unparalleled, rendering them unable to find it elsewhere. You ascend to the pedestal of their obsession when they find themselves without recourse. You morph into their addiction to social media, their relentless fixation. Recently, my narcissist attempted to breach my boundaries through deceitful online personas, a topic I detailed in one of my videos. Your influence is so potent that they crave any residual attention you might afford them. Merely hearing your voice, whether through a fabricated profile or an anonymous call, brings them solace. Despite their peculiar methods, your rarity prompts them to reassess your value. Upholding your healing journey and fortifying your self-worth post-relationship will fortify your resilience. I, along with numerous survivors, can attest to this transformation. Rest assured, you will triumph over the shackles of pain and trauma bonds in the initial stages of your recovery. As you rebuild your sense of worth, new avenues of exploration beckon, perhaps even opportunities abroad. Were it not for the absence of the narcissist, I wouldn't have achieved this significant milestone. Establishing new ventures and surmounting obstacles have amplified my value, and the same holds true for you. As the narcissist fixates on the past, their perusal of your social media and other platforms reveals your growth since departing from them. This realization stings them deeply. While they remain stagnant, perpetually altering their facade to align with their current partner and feigning new interests, your genuine evolution stands as a testament to your authenticity. Recognize that they once again idolize you, reaffirming your intrinsic worth. Even in silence, the narcissist mulls over these thoughts. Prioritizing the cultivation of your value is paramount. Enhanced understanding of narcissistic behavior can be gleaned through various avenues, including personal experiences and academic study. I delve deeply into the psyche of narcissists to unravel their intricacies. While some channels may portray narcissists as insurmountable adversaries, my own journey revealed a different narrative, one which I shared on YouTube. Despite their persistent attempts at reconnection, I remained steadfast, knowing full well that they regretted their actions. You might find yourself receiving nighttime calls, perhaps even with their new partner, which explains the peculiar timing. My recommendation: block them, change your number, and sever all ties to deliver a significant blow to their narcissistic ego. That's the strategy. If you're interested in learning how to silence and torment narcissists, be sure to check out my video. But never forget your inherent worth. Whether you believe it stems from God or the universe, your essence is unparalleled. It's not your outward appearance, but your boundless enthusiasm that sets you apart in a crowd of 100 individuals. Your incomparable energy is the driving force behind this channel. Empaths possess an innate ability to form deep connections with others. However, mirroring the narcissist often leads to the initial discard. Through divine intervention, we aid in the disposal of their trash. Engaging with individuals allows us to penetrate their facade, revealing the narcissist's underlying low self-esteem. This distinction is crucial. Recognizing the disparity between a narcissist's facade of superiority and their genuine self-perception is paramount. The discard phase is a pivotal moment, as it forces the narcissist to acknowledge what they once took for granted. Upon experiencing the discard, they begin to idolize you, realizing the value of what they lost. This awakening typically occurs post-discard or after severing ties. Creating distance triggers this realization, and an early dismissal would have facilitated this process. When you cut them off, they swiftly awaken to the reality of their actions, feeling liberated and elated if they were the ones who rejected you. The reassessment phase commences when they comprehend the stark contrast between you and their new partner. It's essential to acknowledge your uniqueness and count your blessings. Reflect on the progress you've made in dealing with the narcissist. Your efforts have not been in vain. They may resurface unexpectedly in your life, as I've personally experienced. While I once believed my love for the narcissist was squandered, love has since re-emerged in other forms, albeit not romantically. In light of my past grievous error, I've become highly discerning about who I allow into my life. I caution you against repeating similar mistakes out of loneliness, a feeling we've all grappled with. Take the time to nurture yourself as you heal and redirect your energy toward other facets of your life. This energy is potent. It holds the potential for greatness when channeled into endeavors such as health, business, sports, or other passions. As you undergo the process of rebuilding, the narcissist is left incredulous at the magnitude of your newfound worth. Strive to become untouchable. While we may have once lowered our standards to accommodate a narcissist, it's imperative that we now set the bar higher. Any individual we allow into our lives must be exceptional. Settling for less in relationships is no longer an option. Entering into a new relationship before fully healing is detrimental. As survivors of abuse, we understand that healing is a gradual journey. It's characterized by a series of peaks and valleys, devoid of constant sunshine and rainbows. The scars of narcissistic abuse may never fully fade, but it's crucial to recognize that it's not our fault. We weren't naive. We simply encountered someone into whom we poured our love and purity, a gesture that ultimately dismantled the narcissist. The process of revaluation commences when we evolve into something the narcissist can no longer possess. Following the discard, they may reassess your worth weeks later, especially if you maintain silence and refrain from contacting them. Initiating contact to reconcile and revive the relationship will invariably shift the dynamics. Such reactions are common. There's no cause for concern. Despite their meticulous study of our behavior, they are often caught off guard by our resilience. We emerge from these trials stronger and more resilient than ever before. We evolve through our mistakes, emerging stronger on the other side. Let them mourn your absence and futilely compare you to others, only to realize your superiority is unmatched. Nowhere will they encounter someone quite like you. As for their supposed pursuit of another empath, consider that they failed to appreciate having one early in the relationship. They likely continued to provoke their ex with reminders of our presence through photographs. They didn't value us then, nor do they now, until the relationship concludes, prompting a belated recognition of our significance. Indeed, absence does indeed make the heart grow fonder. As you distance yourself, prioritize your spiritual, physical, mental, and healing growth, intensifying the process of revaluation. Narcissists are devastated by this reassessment as you continue to heal and flourish. Keep pushing forward, have faith in the journey, and understand that the separation was divinely ordained. The universe orchestrated your liberation from narcissistic entanglements. It's never too late for a fresh start. A subscriber shared the story of their father, who found love in his 70s after enduring 20 to 30 years with a narcissist. They now live joyously, traversing the globe together. Consider the time spent with the narcissist as a period of mental refinement, rather than wasted years. It has enhanced our resilience, sharpened our analytical abilities, and deepened our comprehension of intricate circumstances. Regardless of their whereabouts, narcissists continue to reassess and idolize us from afar. Subscribe to our channel for more insightful discussions like this. If you'd like to support our endeavors, kindly consider donating via the link provided in the description box. Remember, we're here to support you throughout your journey. Stay tuned for our upcoming video. Until then, remain vigilant and serene.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're delving into a topic that's both enlightening and incredibly important: how narcissists manipulate others for sexual gratification. Narcissists are individuals who crave attention in every aspect of their lives, and their pursuit of sexual satisfaction is no different. But here's the kicker: when you find yourself involved with a narcissist intimately, the experience might not unfold as you'd hoped. Initially, it might seem like you're connecting on a deep level, but soon enough, you might realize there's an ulterior motive lurking beneath the surface, one that could leave you deeply wounded. In this video, we're unveiling some key strategies to be wary of when engaging sexually with a narcissist. These tactics could signal that you're being used as nothing more than a pawn in their game. But fret not, you don't have to navigate this complex situation alone. Stick around until the end, where we'll share some invaluable insights to help you break free from this cycle. And don't forget to check out the description for details on how to access my complimentary course, Narcissism 101, Recognizing the Signs, Breaking Free, and Reclaiming Your Life. Let's dive in. 1. Strictly casual encounters. For narcissists, relationships are nothing more than a way to fulfill their sexual cravings without any hint of emotional involvement or commitment. They perceive others as mere objects, seeking only superficial physical interactions devoid of any deeper significance. While they may pretend to offer intimacy or connection, in reality, you're just a means to an end, a convenient outlet for their sexual urges. Narcissists have no interest in nurturing real connections or investing in emotional bonds. Their only concern is satisfying their immediate desires. To them, you're replaceable, discarded once they've satisfied their needs. Their primary focus is on fulfilling their own desires, with little consideration for their partner's feelings or well-being. If you're hoping for a meaningful relationship or genuine connection, getting involved with a narcissist is likely to leave you feeling used and dispensable. 2. Infidelity, narcissist's second nature. To narcissists, fidelity holds little weight in their quest for pleasure. They see committed relationships as barriers to their unquenchable sexual cravings, readily straying without a shred of guilt. Their pursuit of sexual satisfaction is relentless, regardless of the emotional wreckage left behind. Cheating isn't a moral dilemma for them, it's just another avenue to fulfill their endless desires. They exploit their partner's trust and faithfulness, betraying them to satisfy their own whims. When caught, they deflect blame, refusing to acknowledge their part in the deception. To narcissists, relationships are disposable, and fidelity is just an obstacle to maneuver around. They see their partners as replaceable toys, discarding them once their immediate needs are met. Being with a narcissist means living in constant dread of betrayal and deceit as they prioritize their own wants above all else. 3. Egocentrism, narcissists reach beyond the bedroom. Narcissists are consumed by their own cravings, both in and out of the bedroom. They see themselves as irresistible, deserving constant praise, with little regard for their partner's needs or feelings. Sex becomes a mere tool for their gratification, devoid of genuine emotional connection or intimacy. In bed, narcissists prioritize their pleasure above all, ignoring their partner's satisfaction. They lack empathy, failing to grasp the importance of mutual respect and reciprocity in sexual relationships. Instead, they view sex as yet another arena to assert dominance and fulfill selfish desires. Beyond the bedroom, narcissists persist in putting their own needs first, often at the expense of others. They exploit individuals for personal gain, showing little concern for the fallout. Whether in intimate relationships or daily interactions, narcissists exhibit profound self-centeredness that taints every facet of their lives. 4. Enchantment in disguise, the narcissist spell. Narcissists wield an innate charm that ensnares their targets, drawing them in with an irresistible charisma. In the early stages of a relationship, they radiate an alluring aura that captivates those around them. However, it's crucial to understand that this charm is but a facade, a manipulative tool used by the narcissist to exert control. Behind their charismatic facade lies a calculated agenda driven by self-serving motives. They lavish their targets with affection and attention, crafting an illusion of genuine connection and intimacy. Yet, be warned, this charm is fleeting and shallow. It serves as a means to an end for the narcissist, who sees relationships as opportunities for self-gratification. Once their objectives are met, they discard their target without hesitation, moving on to the next conquest. Thus, while the charm may be beguiling, it's essential to pierce through the illusion and discern the narcissist's true intentions lurking beneath the surface. 5. The puppeteer's game of dependence. Narcissists masterfully weave a web of dependency in their relationships, gradually chipping away at their partner's autonomy and self-assurance. They manipulate their prey into believing they're indispensable, instilling a deep-seated fear of life without them. By nurturing this reliance, narcissists secure control, ensuring unwavering obedience and devotion. They exploit the vulnerability of their dependents, using it to bolster their own sense of supremacy and dominance. Those ensnared by dependence become easy prey, sacrificing their own needs to appease their captor. This feeds the narcissist's insatiable hunger for admiration, solidifying their grip. The dependence game is their strategic ploy to maintain control, trapping their prey in a cycle of manipulation and subservience. 6. Disposable pawns in the narcissist's game. To a narcissist, you're nothing more than a disposable pawn, discarded once they've drained you of usefulness. They shower you with affection one moment, then discard you callously the next. Your value lies solely in fulfilling their desires. After exploiting your sexuality, they discard you heartlessly, oblivious to the emotional wreckage they leave behind. You're left feeling used and discarded, while they move on without a backward glance. To them, you're just a pawn in their game of indulgence. Despite any illusions, you're merely a means to an end in their pursuit of pleasure. They'll exploit your vulnerability, discarding you when you no longer serve their needs. Don't be deceived by their false promises. To a narcissist, you're expendable. 7. Flaunting the paradox, charms and imperfections. Narcissists delight in showcasing a paradoxical mix of their strengths and vulnerabilities, believing them to be irresistible traits. They flood you with images flaunting their physical prowess or vulnerabilities, aiming to captivate your attention and admiration. Particularly in matters of intimacy, they exude an aura of invincibility, flaunting their masculine or feminine allure to draw you into their seductive web. Their confidence knows no bounds, expecting you to succumb to their charm solely based on their physical appeal. They parade their assets, hoping to ensnare you in their embrace. But beware of falling for their superficial allure. If you fail to meet their expectations, they swiftly pivot to displaying their possessions or enticing others to provoke a reaction from you. They'll go to great lengths to grab your attention, regardless of the emotional toll it takes on you. 8. The crown of entitlement. Narcissists wear the crown of entitlement, seeing themselves as royalty entitled to every desire and whim. This entitlement saturates every facet of their existence, including their attitudes toward intimacy. They believe they have the right to engage in sexual activities without regard for others' boundaries or consent. Driven by their arrogance and inflated self-importance, they expect others to cater to their needs and desires unquestioningly. They prioritize their own gratification above all else, demanding unwavering devotion and compliance from their partners. Their entitlement extends to sexual relationships, where they deem themselves entitled to participate in sexual acts whenever and with whomever they please, irrespective of consent or reciprocity. For narcissists, fulfilling their sexual desires is a non-negotiable priority, and they demand others prioritize their satisfaction above all else. 9. Methods of force. Narcissists are very good at using emotional and physical threats to get what they want, even if it's sexual. When they face opposition or problems, they react with anger first, and if necessary, they use force or threats. They think that other people must follow their wants no matter what, even if others disagree or set limits. Narcissists are ready to use trickery, threats, or blackmail to get what they want, especially when it comes to getting physical pleasure. Narcissists often use threats to trick their partners into doing what they want and make them afraid. They might say they will post private information or pictures online or get violent if their requests are not met. People who are forced to use these methods feel hopeless and are forced to give in to avoid more harm. 10. Willpower that is narcissistic. Narcissists are determined to get what they want, no matter what it takes, even if it means using force. When it comes to getting sex, they will do anything to control, trick, or even physically hurt their targets. They can't stand being turned down, so they'll use every trick in the book to get you to agree with them. The fact that you said no doesn't matter to them. They think they can take what they want even if you say no. Narcissists may even hurt you physically to get what they want sexually, without caring about your rights or well-being. Their lack of respect for limits and consent shows how predatory they are, making victims feel helpless and violated. It's important to know that narcissists are likely to use force and to take the necessary steps to protect yourself when you're around them. To wrap it up, Sexual narcissists prioritize their own pleasure without regard for your well-being, using and exploiting you until they've had their fill. It's vital to recognize the danger and distance yourself from these toxic